Hey, Fellowship family, just wanted to give you a heads up. For these next 4 weeks, we are going to be doing these podcasts split into 2 parts. So we're going to start by interviewing a couple pastors that are joining us for the Church Reimagined series. And then Brian and I will come on after that and spend some time walking through the Bible the Bible reading we're covering in the greatest story. So you can stay tuned for that if you want to hear that, or if you're in community groups and you need some deeper information or questions. And so that's how we're going to do that. I hope you stay tuned, and I hope you enjoy these interviews. Welcome back, Fellowship family, to this week's episode of the Deeper Podcast. We've got a good one for you. It's a little different. I am your normal host, Doug Congdon, with my normal co-host, Brian Trias. And we have 2 pastors joining us because we are starting week 1 of the Church Reimagined series. So here in the studio, we have Tim Hughes from Grace Point.
Hello.
Thank you, Tim. Great job. Pastor Marcus Clark from Love Fellowship.
Salute.
He's
so much cooler.
Understated for sure. Very subtle.
And you got the hand gesture there for
The
the
most
online
interesting
crowd.
man in the room.
Okay, we are in, for those of you who may be newer to the church, this is the 2nd year of Church Reimagined, and the 5th year?
5th or 6th, yeah, one or the other.
Or
yeah.
6th year of the collective being together and preaching together. So you guys have been in it from the start, basically?
Day one, yeah.
You were both OG?
OGs, yeah.
Oh, nice. That's great. Okay. Well, then we got a lot of history. So let's start with a little bit of our people who are listening, getting to know you. So take turns. Tell us how long you've been a pastor at your church for.
Well, I started at Grace Point, which actually was known by Fairlawn Heights Wesleyan Church. Mm-hmm. In 2002, came up here to Topeka from Oklahoma to be in student ministry, and then 2007 made the transition to lead pastor and been there ever since. So
yeah,
20.
Yeah, you're
on
4
4 years in
24 total,
in
19
August.
head.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. I mean, and you're about that age total, right? Like you're about 20. I mean, you're
Shots fired.
No, I was shooting him at Tim for being old,
Yes,
but that's fine.
I am old.
Yeah, how long you been there, Pastor?
Marcus Clark, been lead pastor at Love Fellowship since 2015, and celebrated that last year and this year. Things are going well. We seem to be getting younger.
Oh,
yeah, the congregation's getting younger. I'm excited about that.
Oh yeah,
but it kind of just makes you have to dust off stuff that you may not have revisited in a while. So
wait, just tell me more. Dust off like stories of the Bible that you're teaching, or like
you got
strategies?
Children's Church Revitalized,
Yeah.
all that stuff. You know,
puppet ministry.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're back doing that stuff. We hadn't been there in a while, and we're back doing that.
That's
Families
great.
are getting younger, making you have to recall stuff that you haven't revisited.
That's a great thing to do.
Absolutely, it's a good problem.
You guys had a gala party, something celebrating your 10 year.
We did a big shebang last year.
Yeah.
Folks got all dressed up and fancy.
Yeah.
It was nice, and we great support. We have great local support, and it was a good time.
Okay.
Awesome.
Well, you pre-answered the next one, but I'm going to maybe force you to think of a different answer.
Okay.
How have you seen in the 11 years you've been there and the 24 years you've been at Grace Point, how have you seen your church change over that time?
I'll go first only because when I think about that and reflect on it, like Love Fellowship started as just like this invisible, just trying to survive, do it from one week to the next type deal. And now the Lord has blessed us where we are an emerging church in the community where the community knows they can count on us, they lean on us, and we're able to be there and support them in ways that we're really appreciative of. We've kind of morphed into like the community church, right? Where people need support and whatever ways we can serve. It's been kind of cool. It was unexpected, unplanned. It was not a part of our strategic planning in the beginning. It's been very organic, and so I kind of appreciate it.
Was it like faithfulness of just saying yes to opportunities as they arose?
That's
and
it.
Kind of
you have
yes,
families who need some place to hold large gatherings and serve in that way, whether it be funerals or weddings or whatnot. We kind of pride ourselves on making it easy, whereas maybe other churches kind of have a process that can be a little bit more difficult. And so word got out, and next thing you know, we become
hosting a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that's us.
That's awesome.
Well, that's a reflection of their pastor's heart, because I know Marcus, and right. I mean, I'm bragging on you a little bit, your church reflects the heart that you have for people and for your community. So
I appreciate it.
Doesn't surprise me one bit. How has Grace Point changed over that period?
Yeah, you
Get a new name.
can't change.
Yeah, we got
choose that.
we got a new name.
Doesn't count.
So I would say there's been minor changes and major changes. Some of the minor changes are just the people. The people that were there 24 years ago, some of them are still around, but not a lot of them aren't, and that's partly because of the transient nature of American families. Part of it is just when I took over leadership, I was taking over leadership as a 29-year-old punk from a 55-year-old guy who'd been there for 30 years.
Yeah.
So part of that change is leadership, people. I think our heart now is a little bit more towards multiplication than it is addition. We're not just trying to add people to the church. We're trying to multiply to expand the big K kingdom, which is one of the reasons that we do Church Reimagined. We want to work together with the big K kingdom church throughout Topeka. So I think that's the Cliff Notes version of how we've changed.
Okay, so somebody sitting out there hearing that might be like, what's the difference? I don't understand the difference between addition to the church and multiplication to the big K kingdom. What's that look like for you guys?
Sure. I think it's a difference between a family having more kids and then their kids going to have grandkids and great-grandkids and seeing the exponential growth, as opposed to let's just try and get as many people in this box as we can.
Okay.
It's building orchards rather than just growing apples on an individual tree.
He's got analogies for days right now. Let's go. Okay, so part of that has been church planting. Part of it is a discipleship strategy.
Sending people, raising up leaders, raising up disciples. Yeah, all of that stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Great. And just for fun, tell the people what it was like being a student pastor for
which
how
time?
Long? this last time.
This last time.
How long was that for?
Tiring. 18 months.
18 months of going back to the well.
Yeah. Youth ministry is not for middle-aged people. It just isn't. It was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
The best thing about it for me, it was I just got to know the kids, and now the kids know the lead guy.
Awesome. That's great.
And so there's a connection there. But yeah, I wasn't going to last much longer, physical and mental wise. So
I do feel like you have a new hairdo this year, and
so
it looks
funny.
younger, hipper. Like maybe the teens had a say in it. I don't know. No, okay,
absolutely not.
That is so funny.
Okay, so tell me from the OGs, what is the best part about Church Reimagined? Why are you okay taking out a month of your preaching calendar, which a lot of pastors are very, I don't know, possessive is the wrong word, but they hold it protective. That's a better word. Yeah. What makes it worth it for you to give that up to be a part of this?
I'm piggybacking off Tim. I think that whole big K concept, right? That kingdom concept. We know we preach it, we teach it locally, but then this is the opportunity to live it and demonstrate it. And anytime you get to partner with guys like this and help the church, particularly leaders, those you're discipling, see the bigger picture and let them know you're connected to something bigger than our four walls and bigger than our fellowship. This just really concretizes that. So it puts the meat on the bones of everything you've been kind of talking through, and then see in this season they get to see it come to life. So.
Yeah, I just love feeling like I'm working alongside guys that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Doing life with, eating lunch with, just the regular stuff, knowing every Sunday for at least 4 weeks we're kind of going into battle together. It's kind of the same idea around the same emphasis, and yeah, I love doing ministry with guys that I love.
That's awesome. Okay, we're going to get into the specifics of this year's series, the questions Jesus asked, in a second, but we're going to start with quick question of the day. QQOTD. There's a drop there, so we look up QQOTD.
Okay.
Did he know? I don't think he
I
knew.
didn't.
Wow. So the drop is QQOTD.
Is it really?
It's Brian making this weird, freakish noise. QQOTD. And it's, anyway, you just nailed it. Well done, sir. Proud of you. Okay, so these are going to be quick hitters, but again, I think fun questions for people to get to know you. Also, I'm curious about some of these answers. So
Okay.
a little bit rapid fire. Don't overthink it. Here we go. What translation of the Bible do you use when you preach at your church?
New King James.
NIV.
Okay. And is that the translation that you use for personal Bible study at home?
Yes.
Most of the time. Sometimes I got to break it up.
Same too, because most of my personal is Message Bible. I lean on that a lot.
Okay. And what do you go to?
NLT, Message.
Smattering of stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What is one thing you do when you're not working at church that brings you kind of rest, refreshment, energy?
Golf.
We just messed that up.
spoke Doug's love
That
language.
was so great. And have you guys done Church Reimagined foursomes? Have you guys like gone out and just golfed together instead of?
No.
We're really the only ones who.
Are you
Yeah.
really? Oh,
But
that's
That's like the next iteration. The Church Reimagined
but
golf.
I don't play like I played like maybe 2 rounds with Tim and saw how good he was
Yeah,
at
right.
it.
Stop.
It is
and
intimidating.
I was done.
Yeah.
Like this dude's like should be on the pro tour type
Yeah,
stuff.
agreed.
It's not true.
Agreed. And he's like, did he give you, last time I golfed with him, he gave me like multiple hints during the round. Hints
No,
help.
he just laughed at me.
That is not true.
Would you say he is more of a full-time golfer and a part-time?
See, we are not doing
Yeah,
pastors
yes.
any favor whatsoever. We already have a reputation.
Okay, wait. Just to follow that up, home course. What course do you end up playing the most?
Cyprus.
You too?
No, with him.
Yeah.
My home course is the lake.
Oh man, nice.
I'm out east, man.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, the lake would be great. Okay. Why? Oh nope, we already did that one. Looking at the wrong place. Oh, do you have a story about Joe from either Church Reimagined time or just general interacting that you could share with our congregation that they would get a kick out of?
Joe, so the most times I run into Joe in the community, like when we're not doing this stuff, is Joe and his family frequent Culver's, where all of my children got their first jobs. And so he knows the kids from like being up there all the time, but it's crazy. So that's where I run into it most time when I'm dropping kids off or picking kids up.
From Culver's?
From Culver's.
I'm shocked.
they
Okay, I'm shocked.
they
I haven't
Now,
seen it.
now it's Kava. Now that is the place where he
yeah.
goes. Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
That makes
Wow.
sense. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
That's a
okay.
step down. I'm sorry. That's a step down.
I'm with you on that. I'm not a comic.
Doug doesn't eat vegetables, by the way. So
That's true, but we don't have to talk about that.
I have many stories of Joe, but I think some of the one that jumps out the most are whenever Jana and I got to go to Israel with
Nice.
Joe on one of the trips, and he started every single morning on the bus with a top 10, and they were not lame. They were good top 10s. So there's this picture in my mind that he's staying up late every night after being exhausted. It was in July. We were in Israel in July of all
so
times.
hot.
So hot. He's coming up with these top 10s. I'm like, these are like gold. And it just felt like it was a youth group trip with a whole bunch of adults.
That's
I was like,
awesome.
that's so fantastic.
I think he can do those in his sleep.
He
Really?
must.
'Cause he's done it
he
for so long?
must.
No, he's witty.
Yes.
It just
So
pops right
good.
up.
So good.
Okay, give me something you're learning from other pastors in your life.
Oh, man.
This is the last one, so.
Yeah, so I would go with just probably more from the pastors that I'm on staff with.
Yeah, sure.
Some of them are, theologically educated and licensed and all that kind of thing with the reverend title, and some of them they're just seen as pastors in our church. They don't have the theological backing, and being in one place for this long, being able to do life with them, the good, the bad, and everything in between. It encourages me. It jacks up my faith to watch people go through really hard stuff and still maintain faith, even grow in their faith. Thinking of one family in particular that has gone through probably the most difficult thing that they'll ever go through. And the encouragement that they've been to me, even though they're usually in a place where they're the ones who are doing the encouraging as somebody who's seen as a pastor. I think currently right now, that's what I'm learning from.
When you say jacks up, is that positive or negative?
Totally positive.
Okay, no, I thought
Like
so. I just was
steroids,
like,
create creatine, all that stuff. Just shoot it into the veins of my faith.
yep, just wanted to be clear.
Mainline it into the veins of your faith.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah. What about you, Pastor?
On my end, man, I'm blessed to be in company with some senior pastors, got some tenure under them, and I think they've given me a lot of grace and a lot of wisdom toward focusing on the family. Like ministry, we take it so serious and we try to be at our best, but they are really emphasizing to me in this season, focus on that family, man. Make time for them, be intentional. So I'm trying to get better about that.
That's great. Thanks. Okay. You guys, I mean, you made it. You are our first experiment going through those quick questions of the day, where there are a lot of them. So I thought you guys did a good job.
Thank you.
I don't know. Brian will probably tell me later what he really thought. But so let's get into the series. We are doing questions Jesus asked. And as I hear it, there was a list of eight-ish options produced originally, and you get to choose 4 to 5, depending on if you're doing a Good Friday service. What question out of those stood out to you the most that you're excited to talk to your church about? And tell us a little bit about why that question.
The one that I'm probably most excited about is, do you want to get well?
Oh, okay. That's the one we're talking about this week.
We're doing that the second week.
Okay.
I don't know when this is coming out, so maybe I've already talked about it, and everybody's like,
No.
yeah, you shouldn't have picked that one, Pastor.
It'll come out in like 3 days. So
okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, that's the one that I'm most excited about. The kind of the angle I'm taking is sometimes we want to get well, but we don't want to put the work in to get well.
Okay.
And I think there's a lot of that question that Jesus asks that I think we need to wrestle with. So,
Okay, so this is funny because Joe and I talked about how he's preaching it this weekend.
okay.
So when you say we want to get well, but we don't want to put the work in, and you think about the story of the guy at the pool, are you saying like he is using the I have nobody to help me get in as an excuse, and he's kind of just like playing Jesus for whatever he can get out of him? In that
Partly,
moment?
yes.
Okay.
I think that's part of it.
Okay. Because I looked at that, we read that passage and we talked about it, and I was like, this is kind of tough. You can go in a lot of different ways. There's a lot of implied things that you can camp out on. So I'm just really curious what you're going to do with it.
Yeah, I mean the part that I'm thinking more about is just the application of that. You look around at the culture that we find ourselves in, and there are a lot of excuses for why I can stay where I'm staying mentally, emotionally, relationally, physically. And I think Jesus still asks that question of us, do you want to get well?
Yeah. Nice. Nice.
really good.
Okay. I like it.
He's
All
a
right.
really good preacher.
Oh, stop it.
It's okay. You can be encouraged.
Yeah.
It's good.
Good golfer.
appreciate
Good
that.
preacher. All right. What about you, Pastor?
The one that jumped out to me was, whom do men say that I am? Just kind of looking forward to challenging myself to paint the picture, right? Like the imagery. If I do it right, they should be able to see the scene, set the scene for Jesus walking the coast of Caesarea Philippi, and he's looking at all the Greek gods and all these idols, and then he poses the question, if this is what you think of them, who you say I am. So that's the work.
Yeah.
That's good.
The work is the painting of that picture.
That's what we hope to do.
Yeah.
So.
What's your style when you start getting into that kind of painting a picture? Do you show pictures of, like, are you like, hey, let's look at this picture of Caesarea Philippi?
I literally try to use language that paints the picture.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
I challenge, like yes, I challenge myself, but I take joy. Like I like, I can be a bit demonstrative, charismatic, whatever y'all call it. But I mean, I really
Interesting.
But I mean, just that whole setup, the whole intro. Like I may actually pace back and forth, and you see me admiring, as he would. You know what I'm saying? You see it, and you're looking up, and you're in awe of just these grand statues and idols, which makes him then pose, well, if that's what you all this investment into, these gods, then who am I? So
That's great.
yeah.
And are you gonna? You're gonna end that with kind of the application piece of like, who do you say he is?
Yeah, it's trying to put it, the whole goal of it is to put him in his place, right? Like,
Yeah.
ultimately to take all of that energy, focus it on him, that whole thing.
Okay. Have you been to Israel? Should we get?
Please sign me.
Let's
up.
get him.
Do not even go there, man. Like Grant has promised.
Oh my!
I'm
Oh,
throwing everybody under the bus today. Grant's supposed to be organizing the trip. It's years overdue.
Yeah.
Joe doesn't, whatever, never taken us. I'm throwing everybody under the bus on the podcast. Let's make it happen.
That's so good. Oh, it makes me happy.
this is my favorite moment, I think, in podcast history.
Okay, so I'm trying to think any other questions that you would have about the series that you'd be curious. Okay,
No,
so
I think it's
let's
good.
end this time with a quick sharing. How can we, as a church, little whistle there through the teeth. If they're listening to this, somebody's listening to this, and they are gonna pray for you guys right now, how can they stop and pray for Love Fellowship, and how can they stop and pray for Grace Point?
Well, I'll be remiss if I didn't just say thank you all again for having us. We look forward to this time of year each year. Pray for us. We take Lent season pretty serious.
Oh, cool.
And we're in our season of fasting, and
Okay.
we're asking our congregation to give up something sacrificially in the area of food and whatnot. And so just be praying for the saints with all the temptation out there that their stomachs won't get the best of them in this season. So just join us in prayer in that way.
I did not offend you by providing lunch today,
Right,
did
right. Yeah, you guys didn't help at all.
I? Sorry.
Shoot.
The first thing I thought of.
Did he not eat?
I don't remember.
Oh, shoot.
Let's just keep it to ourselves. We'll just keep that
Yeah,
here.
yeah. So sorry. But also super cool that
Yeah,
you
I love it.
actually put a kind of like a flag in the ground there, plant a flag and say, let's
we
do this
that
for real.
from Ash Wednesday to that. We walk it down, and they look forward to it. We try to make a pretty big fuss over it, and they bought into it. So
Yeah, that's great. Cool. Thanks for sharing.
Awesome.
What do you got, Tim?
Mine's going to sound so hollow after that. No, last time I was on the podcast, we were talking a little bit about some of the revisioning process that we went through as a church. We're on the other side of that. The thing that we're praying about, or the thing I would ask most for, is just oneness as we kind of roll all of that out. When you change direction or focus a little bit, there is a tendency for the enemy to get in there and start to divide. So, if anything else, oneness.
Yeah.
That's not hollow at all, man.
Yeah, right.
You didn't even
I
go to
said
church.
that.
I don't
What am
know.
saying? Get out of here. That's great. Okay, guys, thank you for your time. We're gonna we're doing podcasts as obviously if you're listening a little different, so we'll pair this with a little bit of what we're talking about in the Bible. But just want to say thank you for giving not only of your time right now in this 15 minutes, but the way that you have been originals on this quest and vision from the
geez.
start.
I love it. Thanks for having us.
Good stuff. Yeah. All right. We'll catch you in a sec. Hey guys, thanks for sticking with us. I hope you enjoyed that interview time with Pastor Clark and Pastor Hughes that we got to have.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, and we are kind of going to split our podcast for these next 4 weeks. So our desire is that we keep you up to date with the reading plan if you're doing the daily devotional. And if you're a community group that's kind of doing that together, we want to give you a short take, some thoughts on it, some deeper questions that you might ask, and then also how it fits with our strategic vision. So it's just going to be Brian and I
Today. Yeah.
probably every time. I don't know. And might be a little more riffing than you're used to, but we're just going to work through.
Don't hate that.
We're just going to work through the stories and the plan and, give you some of our insights and then hopefully some good stuff to work through.
Yeah, so this part of the series this part of the podcast is still with the greatest story.
Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you. In fact, we'll just give it a number. This is the greatest story, week 11 now.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
because the story continues, even though we're taking a little bit of a detour with this Church Reimagined stuff, which we love. We just want to keep you up to date with.
Yeah. We're staying on pace here. We're staying on pace. So this week we cover Exodus 16 to Exodus, through the end of Exodus, Exodus 40. And so we are going to walk through those stories and just to give you some insight or thoughts. We're just got our Bibles open. It's going to be very kind of chill. And we ended last week with plagues and Passover and leaving. And so we're picking up this week. They're in the wilderness. They're across the Red Sea. And in Exodus 16, this first story is they start complaining. What a surprise. Huge surprise. And they start off so dramatic.
But they don't even wait to chapter 16 to start complaining.
Oh, that's true.
They start complaining at 15. They have the Song of Moses. It's like, yay, this has been great. Hey, this water's terrible.
We really wanted Fiji water. This is so bad. That's right. They grumble in 15:24, and then they grumble more.
Yeah, it just especially if you're doing the year through the Bible.
Yeah.
Like the amount of at some point it's like, guys, do not see it. Do not see it. Yep. But they complain about their stomachs. They're hungry.
I love again, Moses is the one who wrote this, right? So he had the firsthand experience, but he does not do any favors, but the Israelites are so dramatic. So this phrase, would that we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt. I mean, I wish we died back there, just makes you want to punch them. But
I mean, they were in slavery.
Yeah.
And they're like, it would be so much better if we could go back there because at least we had good food. It's just...
Okay, so some things that you like or stand out to you about the whole manna quail provision stuff. I'll just throw out my first one is the hilariousness of the name manna, which means what is it? Yeah. Which is great. Hopefully you took the time to read that in your notes, but
I love that he says at the beginning, like, this is how much you're going to take each day.
Yeah.
And if you take more, it's going to go moldy. There's going to be worms. And it's not going to go well for you. Yeah. And people are just like, I don't care.
I'm going to try it.
I'm going to do it. It goes bad.
I tried to tell you.
But isn't that a perfect story about us?
Yeah.
God's like, hey, here's your playground. Yeah. Like here's your boundaries. And it's like the garden all over again.
Yeah.
Here's what you get to do. No!
I want to do that other thing.
Yeah.
He even says, and this happens, but he says in 16, I'm going to test them. And whether they will walk in my law or not. And then he gets through and he gives them all the instructions and then they fail the test. And it's one more fascinating way that God trains his people in the wilderness to be his people. And this first part is like, you got to rely on me for everything. I want you to depend on me for everything.
Well, and they're coming out of Egypt. They are 400 and something years disconnected from Joseph. I don't know how many of them even understand who God is other than than the plague. They've seen the plagues. They've seen the Red Sea.
Yeah.
And now he's like, guys, you don't even have to worry about your food. Like, I'm going to take care of your food. And then, we're going to jump ahead to the law here in a second. But it's like, you don't even have to guess what it looks like to follow me. With all the other gods, you have to try to give them the right sacrifice or bring them the right bounty that day.
Yeah, nice.
And he's
good
like,
point.
no. This is exactly what you have to do to follow me. It's almost, even though it's law, it's grace.
Yeah.
It's gracious that he's like, I'm going to tell you what it looks like to be my people.
Any revelation from God is grace, even if it comes across as law, because he doesn't have to do it. Okay, anything else in the manna story? Oh, this is the first time, at least I have this in my notes, and this is what's another nice thing about having notes all throughout a Bible is like, you just go through and be like, oh yeah, I really liked this. This is the first is this the first Sabbath as my note in 16, because this is right before he does 10 Commandments and talks about Sabbath. But he says, this is what the Lord has commanded. Tomorrow's a day of solemn rest, a holy Sabbath to the Lord. And I was like, oh, this is Sabbath before Sabbath was like commanded in the 10 Commandments. Don't do it. Don't prove me wrong. You're going to prove me wrong.
We'll go with that. We'll go with that.
Okay. Anyway, so we jump to 18, and we have this kind of fun story about Jethro and
the hillbilly, the first hillbilly.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. What was that show? Was it
Beverly Hillbillies?
Yeah. Okay. This is like the classic seminary lesson for like how you delegate as a leader, though, right? Isn't that how you learned it?
100%.
Yeah. This is like what it looks like to share the burden of spiritual leadership. Anything that you like to or want to say about that one?
No, when I do like the Legacy Bible with this one too, I try to point that out. Like you only have a certain amount of capacity that you have, and then what everyone's going to get from you is really, really bad, and you're going to burn yourself out. And so the ability to give stuff away, and we talk about that with staff, we talk about that with leadership development. Like it's just a good practice that not everything has to bottleneck with you.
Nice.
And it's better for the people.
Yeah, love it. Okay,
pretty simple.
19. And we go 19 and 20. This is when we get into the big 10 command Exodus 20. Hopefully, if you're out there and you've read your Bible, that's 10 commandment territory. So 19, 20, we talk about they get to Sinai. the cloud shows up, the Lord speaks from the mountain, there's rumbling, there's thunder, the people are scared, Moses goes up. What do you love about this story?
19:5-6.
Oh.
I come back to that time and time and time again.
Okay.
Now, therefore, if you will indeed obey my voice and keep my covenant, you shall be my treasured possession among all the peoples, for all the earth is mine. You shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. Where you get that language in Peter when he's talking about what the people of God looks like. Yeah. These are the words that shall speak to the people of Israel. So really from this point on, you're going to get a lot of language that is about I'm your God and you are going to be my people.
Yeah.
And everything he's doing just keeps coming back to that. Like I am developing in you that you are going to be a people after my own heart. You're going to be a people that follow me. And he's going to tell them what that looks like in chapter 20, but it's like 19. This is like the vision statement,
the picture
of what it's going to be. Because it ends in Revelation 21, right?
Yeah.
Where he says, hey, you're going to be with me. I'm going to be your God. You're going to be my people.
Yeah.
And this is where I really see that language start picking up.
Yeah, I love it too because, I mean, we end this week with tabernacle talk and the being with, like this idea. I don't remember at some point in studying Scripture, the Old Testament became the story for me of God trying to be with His people, right? From the garden being the picture, and then ever since then trying to get back in the tabernacle is a great picture of that. This is actually even, I'm glad you pointed it out, like His speaking that vision out loud to His people. Okay, so there's some crazy obvious pictures that he gives to Israel during this time frame so that the people who are looking at Moses and looking at the mountain, he says, like, so that they'll always believe, so that they will always follow you, so that they'll know that you're the person I've chosen. And it sounds like, okay, this is great. This is totally going to work. And the people get freaked out and they say, you go up there. And then he gets up there and they don't follow. They immediately stop following God.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
It's really disheartening and a little bit confusing.
But
I skipped ahead. Yeah.
Can I riff on something real quick?
Riff it.
So I was thinking about this, God being like, my desire is that you're my people and that I'm your God. When we think about the idea of celebrity, like we want to be close to celebrity. We want celebrities to know who we are. We want to get to know them. And like in this case, God is the one who's the famous one, the big one, the one we should all want to be getting to know. And he's like, guys, I'm desperate, right? Like, I want you to be with me. And it's like we have the opposite reaction.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of backwards for the way the rest of the world works.
Yeah.
Like, the creator, all-powerful God of the universe wants to be in relationship with the things that he made.
Love it.
Unbelievable.
Also love that connection. I haven't really heard that before.
I just came.
Yeah, good riff.
Yeah.
Riffing for days. Okay, so 20 and 21. Nope, we do 19 and 20. So what about 10 Commandments? I mean, you've read and heard and seen the 10 Commandments a billion times.
Yeah.
So what do you still get out of it when you get there?
Honestly, you did a message on the 10 Commandments probably like within the last 2 years.
Somewhere it was close. Yeah, maybe 3 years.
It's one of the best messages I've ever heard on the 10 Commandments. Like, it was like very practical. You had little hand motions.
Yep,
and stuff.
the hand motions, man. People have
so
mentioned that.
That's like, I always think we have this whole database of messages that like we should use more.
Yeah.
Like, someone should go watch that. It was really good. The 10 Commandments make me laugh a little bit. Like, number one is just the most important. And then number two is like, don't do anything in my image. Like, don't make anything in my image. Like, you're not going to create anything that resembles me in any way. And you're like, check it. And then number three, don't use my name in vain, which I was always taught was like, I can't say
oh my God.
the name public.
Do
like, you don't say GD, you don't say JC, you don't say those things. And to be honest with you, I still carry that with me. Like, I don't say those things.
Ditto.
I just don't think that's what it means.
Yeah.
Like, I think we don't ascribe to the Lord things that are not of Him, and we don't use it for our benefit. You know, like, God told me you need to give me this thing. Like, that's no bueno. We shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And then it goes to Sabbath, and it's like, well, we don't do that.
Like, I see. I was like wondering where you were. Like, where's
you start reading this, and you're like,
yeah.
that one's really weird. Like we play sports on the weekends.
Yeah.
We do all this stuff. But if you read through the Pentateuch,
oh my goodness,
Sabbath,
is
Sabbath, and ultimately it's, guys, you don't have to work more for me to provide. I'm going to be able to do that for you. And then it's like, honor your father and mother. Fine. And then it's like they go really quick. Don't murder, don't commit adultery. Like they have all this explanation, and then it's just like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
So,
the switch from 3 to 4. That's a good point. We do like wholeheartedly, obviously agree. 1, 2, 3, and then we get to 4, and we're like, yeah, that was great for back then. That was a really good idea for back then, God. But we live differently now. We just did the spiritual disciplines in YA, and Sabbath was one of them. And Liam and Allie came and talked about it, and talked about how much work goes into creating that space now, because that's what it takes. It takes like a lot of work,
boundaries,
to create the space where you don't work, which is it's fascinating. But okay.
And I think the encapsulation of the first 4 being about loving God, and the last 6 being about loving others, and then Jesus in the greatest commandment. It's like, this is what it means. It's love the Lord your God with all your heart, love your neighbor as yourself. It's like he's been saying this the whole time.
Yeah,
we just overcomplicate it.
Yep. And I think I can underappreciate this passage because we have so much now of the counsel of God and so many of his commands that we've studied and grown up in verses that we've memorized. But to remember that for the people of Israel who, like you said already, knew almost nothing about this Yahweh, like these rules were brand new and super important, like in building blocks of a new society of what it looks like to follow God as a culture. And yeah, I just think, okay, these are such basic things, like obviously, but for them it was probably new stuff. And who knows how Egypt lived? Like who knows? I'm guessing their moral code and system looked a lot different. And
I don't think we're going to do Deuteronomy in the Greatest Story series, when they have the whole thing with the wilderness and that they're coming on the back end, and Moses starts doing those sermons in Deuteronomy chapter 5, he literally just does these 10 again, just verbatim. Like, you guys, you need to understand this.
Remember this.
And then it's, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, strength, and mind. He only uses 3. I never can remember which 3 it is. But then he's like, these things need to be upon your heart.
Yeah.
You need to bind these things to you. You need to talk about them when you lie down, and when you, like, he just keeps coming back. Like, this is what it looks like to follow me. It's got to be front of mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we go from 10 Commandments to Exodus 32, and we get into the unfortunate part of the story. So this is 20 through 31, right? He's been receiving. And then it says, when the people saw that he delayed to come down, they gathered themselves together to Aaron and said, make us gods who shall go before us. As for this Moses, we don't know what has become of him. So we get the golden calf story. And again, especially because it's like you're watching a movie, and they cut scenes. They're cutting scenes from like things that are happening concurrently from one to the other. And we have just spent our time on the mountain with Moses and God, and we are in this, and we're getting all of this amazing revelation, and then cut scene. And those people down there have received none of what we have. They haven't seen any of what we've been just privy to. And then I think it increases your disgust for their reaction. You're like, how are you kidding me? How long has it been? Was it 40 days max that he was up there even? Yeah. So just, they gave up so easily, and Aaron gave up so easily, and you wanted so much more from his leadership. And then Moses comes down and he just blames everybody else for it.
There's really not a lot of great Aaron stories.
Man, is that true? I haven't really thought about it like that.
I mean, even when you get to Numbers, it's like, me and Miriam, we should be co-equal with you. It's like there's just not a whole lot of Aaron being like, I'm standing up.
Gosh, and then you think back to like Moses begging for help and not being willing to trust God, and God saying, you can take Aaron.
Cutting room floor. I wonder if that's kind of the point.
Yeah. Once again, when we don't trust God and try to do things on our earth. Oof. Okay. Is there anything that stands out to you about the golden calf story?
In their time, it's number 2 of the commandments.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like they found some new way to do things. It was just literally the thing that they were told not to do. Moses' response was to burn the calf.
That's right.
And to put it in their drinking water, which is
so
just like,
epic.
Did you ever have your mouth washed out with soap?
I didn't.
Okay, I did. Just the idea of like what you worshipped is going to now be a part of you.
Yeah.
It's sick. And then he's like, all right, priests, you know what you do. Strap your swords on.
I mean,
we're going to go kill some people. And we're like, what is happening?
Wow.
And then for us, I think we read that story and we have a temptation to go, man, we would never do that. We would never have a big old idol that we would look at and say, this is our God.
Yeah.
We just do it in a multitude of different ways. And instead of having a golden calf, I've got a bull on my shirt, that you just
it's amazing how close those two animals are.
That you just go, man, I give that worship sometimes. I attribute worth and dignity and value to all of these things, even though I never made anything out of gold.
Yeah, that's a great point. And the phrases they use to talk about it are, this is the thing that has brought us out of Egypt. And you're like, that's ridiculous. Like, you literally have heard from the God who did it. But then I think about things that people attribute, like, this is what my life is about. This has brought my life purpose. This has brought me out of the pit. This has brought me out of depression. It's not God stuff.
My skills are the reason why I have this big house, or my performance is the reason why this happened. It's like, it's dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the eating the gold part that's just next level, dude. Especially because gold is poison, right? I mean, if you ingest too much gold, you die.
And then I don't know what the reading plan. Okay, we do get to Exodus 34.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because this is good, because it explains, like, you just talked about priests strapping on swords and killing a bunch of people, and it's like, okay, who is this God? Like, and then go for it.
He gives his. I keep, when I do my legacy Bible, or when I'm like, I keep coming back to Exodus 34, 6 and 7, where he is the God of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. I am who I am. Tell them I am sent you. Like, they don't have a ton of information.
Yeah.
Even the Ten Commandments is not a lot of description about who he is. It's about how do you follow him. And then 34, 6 and 7, I'm a God of steadfast mercy. I'm a steadfast love. I'm a God of mercy. I'm a God of grace. I'm also a God who doesn't leave the guilty unpunished, and I'm going to punish them to the third and fourth generation. And it's like, okay, I need to have an understanding of who this God is. And it's not on my terms. It's not what I like. It's not what I could tolerate. It's his own self-definition. And I just think we've got to ingrain that into our brain, that it's not about what we can tolerate, what we like. It's about who he is, and then we got to fall in line with that.
Yeah, and that's such a good word, because I'm also just picturing a bunch of counseling conversations where you've heard people say, like, that's not who I believe God to be, because it doesn't fit with their image, their own graven image that they've made God into. Because this God, a God who would tell priests to kill, like, people who have fallen away, that's not a God I want to follow. That's not a God of love.
Well, and what I think it's right before, or maybe right after, but it's when Moses is like, can I see you? Can I see your face? And he's like, yeah, so you're not going to get to do that because you wouldn't be able to do that and live. And then he gives this definition of himself. It just put those things together. Like, we can barely handle him. And he's so much bigger and greater, demanding of our loyalty. And that's what he's demanding of his people. Like, this is what it looks like to follow me. I feel like I'm a broken record, but it's like what it means to read Exodus and Leviticus and Numbers and Deuteronomy.
That is a lot of the Pentateuch, absolutely. But there is that fear and awe and reverence piece that we have sometimes lost, in the modern church, that when you read the Pentateuch comes back real strong. And we end with the tabernacle, right? Is that the last thing? Yeah. Exodus 40, we end with the tabernacle. We just talked about this passage, and we were in Honduras for a mission trip and talking about the skilled people that God raised up to build the tabernacle. He said, I put my skill in these guys and they're going to make it beautiful. And he gives them tons of instructions on how to do that eventually. And we went to Honduras with the 10 guys who knew how to build houses well. And it was this is the process of God giving you special skills and gifts and you using them to build up the body of Christ. In this case, when you think about the tabernacle, I just can't get over the fact that they got to see the glory of God come and rest upon it. And the glory of God dwelt there. And that Shekinah glory, seminary word here. But that is, it was a while ago, the tabernacle became so much cooler to me. And I would just sit there and think, if I was encamped in the tents that were anywhere close to where they set up the tabernacle and the very glory, I saw the glory of God come and rest on it, how much would I be moved every time? And would I get used to it after a while? Or would it always be, this is insane that we're this close to the living God?
So if you keep reading, before God does a major judgment too, the glory of the Lord appears. And so in some ways, the appearance of the glory of the Lord is not always
a positive, like a feel good, happy, positive thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think the piece that you talked about the awe and the reverence, I think the presence of the Lord in a visual sight should be that's different. And isn't that what the word holy really means? Set apart, just wholly different. There's just something different about him. And he is worthy of my trust, my belief, my practice, my obedience.
Love it. Anything else that you liked about the tabernacle story, or that you have?
Not the tabernacle per se, but the tent of meeting in chapter 33. I love that Moses left and then Joshua stayed there for a while.
Oh, nice.
And it's that leadership development
I was about to say, we're
piece
starting to
of Joshua's starting to understand what's up, and he is being prepared, and I don't want to use that word, but he's being prepared for what is to come. So
okay, great. Okay, so we just walked through the stories here, but if you're meeting with a community group or you're moving from, man, this is a cool story, to how does this apply to my life in 2026 in Topeka, let's think about intentional and available. Let's think about strategic vision. What of the lessons in these stories do you want to apply? And I'm just stealing from the daily devotional here. Joe says, like Israel, we are called to trust in God's provision, obey his word, turn from idols, and follow his presence wherever he leads, in case you want to piggyback on any of those ideas. But what would you say?
I'll go with the intentional at home one.
Yeah.
There's so many times it's this is how you will teach the next generation. You're going to pass these things on. This is going to be a reminder so that when generations behind you ask these questions. And so, especially when you think about the concept of the 10 Commandments and what it means to follow the Lord, your kids are not going to pick up on that by accident. The people you're living in your apartment with are not going to pick up on what it looks like to follow the Lord by accident. We have to instruct in these things and teach in these things and live out these things in such a way that people will know what it looks like to do that. And so that intentional piece is having that conversation, knowing what you believe and passing it on, because we believe that this is the stuff that really matters.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. I think about intentional at home when I think about the fear, reverence, awe aspect and the sin that kind of comes up here. And walking this line of how do I, when I see my kids in sin, how do I call them out of it with some gentleness and love that I've experienced from Jesus, but also still let them know that God takes sin seriously. It not only does it hurt him, but it hurts us a lot. And so we have tried to do a good job of sitting in that. We obviously have a practice of confession that we do on a regular basis or whatever, but we definitely lean more towards the forgiveness, grace than we do the fear and awe part of it. And so I'm always, when I get to these parts of even talking about the Holy of Holies and be near God, you would die if you saw him, that kind of stuff. It's like, okay, how can I get my kids to see God as this powerful, this holy, this worthy of praise, and also the God that is their best friend, and the God that loves them and walks with them. I don't know that I do a great job of that. Have you done that in a good way with your kids?
I think that's really hard. It's like that definition in Exodus 34, 6 and 7. How do you get them to see both sides?
Yeah.
I know Joe has talked a lot about like discipline or correction in the home is going to be a lot less painful than it is going to be in the world.
Yeah.
When, like,
if you don't
when
do it.
you get, when you are kind of left to yourself. And so I think it's good to model both of those things. And I think parents just have to give themselves a little bit of grace that, like, our parents didn't do it perfectly. We're not going to do it perfectly. Our kids are not going to do it perfectly. But when this is our guide, we try our best to show that.
Okay. I mean, we're running out of time here, but I do want to ask you, like, a big part of what we do every week if we're preaching through it is we get to the Jesus part. How do we see Jesus in this? So I have something I'm going to read that I read from Hebrews, but I'll read that while you think about how you see Jesus in these passages. So this is one of my favorite passages. I say that probably too much for you to believe me still, but it's poetry.
I know where you're going.
It's in Hebrews 12. I love it because it's directly contrasts or compares the picture of Israel at Sinai to where we're at now post Jesus. So he says this in Hebrews 12, "You have not come to what may be touched, a blazing fire and darkness and gloom and a tempest, and the sound of a trumpet and a voice whose words made the hearers beg that no further messages be spoken to them," which is all the description of Sinai, right? That all happened. "For the Israelites could not endure the order that was given, if even a beast touches the mountain, it shall be stoned. Indeed, so terrifying was that sight that Moses said, 'I tremble with fear.'" So there's the Sinai part that we just read. He says, this is what you have come to now if you're a believer in Jesus. "You have come to Mount Zion and to the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem, and to innumerable angels in gathering, and to the assembly of the firstborn who are enrolled in heaven, and to God, the judge of all, and to the spirits of the righteous made perfect, and to Jesus, the mediator of a new covenant, and to the sprinkled blood that speaks a better word than the blood of Abel." I love it.
It's great.
It's poetry. It's beautiful. And it always takes me back to to Exodus 19 and 20 every time.
So I'm going to kind of cheat a little bit. It's my answer about how do you get to Jesus from here is not necessarily just in Exodus, but it's in Exodus and then the Leviticus and the other things. Like it sets up like the priesthood and how they needed a priesthood that would come and make atonement, and yet Jesus is going to come and be the greater high priest who's going to do the sacrifice once for all for us. The whole idea of the tabernacle and eventually the temple is this idea that like God is dwelling amongst us. Well, not only are we going to dwell with him one day, but he is currently dwelling within us now by this Spirit. And you just think about how much better we have it with an indwelling Spirit rather than a tabernacle. And so all of these things that we have been given are to help point us to where he came. And so even like the offerings, like we still do offerings, but it's out of worship and recognition of how much that he's given to us in the person of Jesus Christ. So it is so easy.
That's kind of a macro take, like this whole system, right? That's
everything he's setting it up. It's like that guy is going to come, and what I have promised from Genesis 3, what I have promised in Genesis 12, like all of that is going to come true in this one kid, this one baby that comes.
Love it. Love it. Great stuff. All right. Thanks for joining us on this first kind of like, inaugural journey here that we're taking. Why don't you close us in prayer, Brian? Pray for community groups and for people doing this.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for your word. Thank you that we can come to it and that no matter where we find ourselves in it, we understand better who you are and what you are doing. Lord, for community groups that are continuing on and are doing this greatest story and they're talking about the readings, Lord, I pray that you would be a part of their discussions, that you would help them to see your word more clearly, that you would help them to see Jesus clearly, and then you'd help them understand how to better live out their faith and believe more deeply in you through what they read in Exodus. Lord, I pray for this series that we are doing. We just talked with Pastor Clark and Pastor Hughes. Lord, we are grateful for the partnership in the gospel that they are. We pray that you are with their churches as they go through this, that as Tim and Marcus, as they prepare, that you would be with them in that preparation. And as they speak your word, we know that your word never returns void. And so thank you for the partners that they are, and may you bless them and their churches and the work of their hands. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Brian. And thank you, Fellowship family, for tuning in to this week's episode of the Deeper Podcast. We'll catch you all next time.